Welcome back to Kiki's Self Mastery. My name is Kiki LaFleur. Today I'm going to talk to you about why failing forward is your secret weapon. One, you learn what actually works. What do I mean by that? Every single failure, it reveals what doesn't work, okay? You have to pay attention to the sign because it brings you closer to your strategies, habits, and decisions that lead to real success. And the thing is, a lot of people don't have mentors, okay? Like majority of the people who probably are watching this, you do not have a mentor to learn from. So what I would suggest is what I did, because when I didn't have any mentors, is I researched everything as much as I can, and I did a lot of homework. Because the thing is, you have to figure out what doesn't work quickly. You can't take your time with this part because it's just going to prolong your process. But if you have a mentor, that's even better. If I were you, I would get multiple mentors because a lot of people know multiple things. The other thing is find virtual mentors, people on social media, YouTube, so on and so forth, in order to gather as much information as you possibly can in order to know what doesn't work. Because I'm telling you, I wasted a lot of time, money, and my patience trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, okay? In order to find success in a lot of things. Now, the thing is, it's definitely not an easy process. It isn't just click on something and watch, but I promise you, the more you do it, the better your questions will get. You start to tweak your questions even more so that when you're researching, you start to get those specific answers very quickly. In the beginning, you're going to be all over the place. You don't know where to start, what questions to ask. But I will definitely tell you to start with your own personal development. Listen and read books, videos, so on and so forth about personal development, because you got to change what's in here first in order for anything else to start to play out. And by doing that simultaneously, you're going to help your vocabulary, the way you speak, the way you talk. If you're cursing every 2-3 sentences, you have a very low vocabulary and you need to switch it out. You need to start investing in more books. Books is how you change your vocabulary, because you're just going to have a list of new words that you're going to start to absorb, and you won't need to be cussing every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Number 2 is you build unshakable confidence. When you fail and get back up, you prove to yourself over and over again that setbacks do not define you. Your persistence does. And that kind of confidence, it's priceless, period. No one can tell me anything about me right now, because I have gone through too many setbacks that I know what it's like on the other side every single time. And I feel like by the time you've gone through enough setbacks, you realize, 1, it ain't the end of the world, okay? 2, you'll get through it. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger, I promise you that. And 3, you realize that that's your superpower. You know, like, I can go through almost anything and I'll be all right. If anything, I'll be better than all right. I'll be better than how you met me. You know what I mean? Like, it builds a level of callous in you that makes you unstoppable in such a way that your confidence cannot be shattered. It's like, whoa. Number 3, you develop a growth mindset. So failing forward, it starts to shift your perspective from I failed to I've learned. This type of mindset keeps you evolving and growing. And here's the sweet part. You start to outperform those who fear failure. So the thing is, I realized this after doing it. Okay, like after a while it just gets easier. You just don't fear anything anymore. Like after you've done it for a amount of times, fear what? And it depends what level it is, because if you're on the same level and you're doing things that are still fearful in your mind, it gets easier. But then when you hit another level, that's another level of fear that you may not be ready to take on. But because you have so much practice on these different levels, by the time you get to the next level, that fear becomes less and less and less. It doesn't necessarily mean that it goes away completely. It may go away on the same playing field, but once you hit the next one, it's like, okay, I feel a little bit of fear, but I know what it's like on the other side. And I know that once I get through this part, it gets easier. You know what I mean? So you eventually just realize that the fear is in your mind, as long as you're being safe, of course. Don't do nothing crazy and then assume that it isn't fearful and nothing can happen. Like, come on, like, common sense is common. Common sense isn't that common, but I'm telling you, you need to figure out common sense in order for you to still be safe while feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, just be safe. I'm not out here telling people to do crazy, stupid shit, okay? But I am telling you that you must feel the fear and do it anyway. Quick interruption, please do me a solid. I would truly appreciate you if you just hit the like button. It helps my channel so much so that other people can get this message as well. Thank you. Number 4, you start to become fearless in taking risks, okay? While others stay stuck in their comfort zone, you take bold action. You start to understand that every mishap is just a stepping stone to something greater. And that's the thing, like eventually you start to take bolder and bolder action in order to reach your goal faster. In the beginning, like I said, you may not have any mentors, but you have to understand that the more you do, the faster you do it and the bolder action you start to take. So if you think about it, if you're taking off a small chunk at a time, eventually that small chunk isn't going to mean much to you. Eventually you'll be capable of taking bigger and bigger chunks of bolder action in order to get to your goal faster. Pivoting and so on and so forth, like I spoke about on my last video, it really just helps you to understand how to move, when to move, and how much time you have, because time is super valuable and you have to understand that you got to learn quick. So the faster you learn, the more chunk of an action you can take, eventually the faster you'll get to your goal. Number 5, you turn setbacks into setup. What looks like a loss to others is actually a setup for your next big win. Every failure defines you, redirects you, and positions you for even bigger opportunities. I literally experienced this over and over and over again. And when I'm dealing with these setbacks, for me, it's like I have gained the mindset and wisdom to understand that there's a bigger reason for this, and the bigger the setback, the bigger the beautiful opportunity that's gonna spawn from this. Like, I just get excited. I'm like, I know it, I feel it, I see it. It happens every single time. You just gotta pay attention to the patterns. Pay attention to patterns in your life, and you will understand that these difficulties, these setbacks are literally setting you up for these big wins. Like the person I am today, who I am today, how I maneuver, how I think, what I speak, how I carry myself, my values, my principles, everything about me has been a setup. For one, for me to be right here in front of this camera with you, but 2, for where I'm going. And I've always prayed for big wins, big wins. And for me, I didn't want quick wins. So having them come quickly it wouldn't align with me the way that I am. So I had to have gone through certain things, certain setbacks in order to sustain, 1, but 2, be prepared for those big wins, because it's heavy weight on a person's shoulder who isn't prepared for the opportunities to come, that they can eventually destroy themselves, destroy people around them, so on and so forth. It'll be a downhill battle. For me, it's like, I'd rather take the long road, because I'd rather be prepared and able to carry the weight of what is to come, because I know I'm gonna be good for it. You know what I mean? Like, I won't let it tarnish my soul. If anything, I will flourish within it. I won't rot. I will flourish more so than anything. So it took time. It took patience. It took a long time coming. But when I tell you I see the light at the end of the tunnel, I do. And that's mainly because I've changed. I've changed internally. My values, everything about me is so different that there's no way that the old me could have handled just even this at this moment, at this very moment in time. Who I am now and the weight that I'm dealing with, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. So setbacks are not there to hurt you. If anything, they're there to make you better. They're there to build something in you. And if you look at it in a positive light, every setback that comes your way you're gonna see it more as a blessing, because sometimes there are things in your life, forces that we do not know about physically, in the physical realm, and I'm talking about spiritual guides, God, so on and so forth, whoever you believe in. They're doing a lot in the background, of course, and they're stopping things that may be in your way to hurt you. And you really have to understand that certain opportunities aren't meant for you, and they're there to protect you. And that's how I've learned to look at everything, especially when I really want something and it didn't come through. I'm like, it wasn't meant for me. And if I deal with a setback, I'm like, what lesson I gotta learn in this? And it's only gonna make me stronger. It's only gonna make me better. Like, I really have learned to look at everything in a positive light, because that's the only way that I'm be able to keep moving forward. All right, so that was it, my quick tidbits. Until next time.